Catherine, I'm going to have to start with you. He's not my old mate, but it's a country colloquialism. But Kim Jong Un looks like he's in a bad way. Who knows if we can believe what's coming out of North Korea any more than we can believe what's coming out of China. But the reports are out of US military intelligence that he had some sort of heart operation recently and he's not faring well. I'm interested to know what you think of the veracity, but who's the likely successor?
Well, this is the really interesting question. This is one of the most opaque shutdown societies on earth, Peter, as you know. So firstly, as to the veracity, the US intelligence would be very limited in terms of hard contacts on the ground. They'd be heavily reliant, I suspect, on electromagnetic spectrum intercepts and so on. The South Koreans would have a good visibility, as good a visibility into this regime as anyone. But it's just very hard to determine. He's been a murderous, typical despot in that he's eliminated rivals and family members. Regime survival motivates these kinds of closed autocratic organisations. And you've seen essentially, I think, all the brinksmanship against the United States over nuclear testing was largely about regime survival and face. So their behaviour can be volatile and unpredictable, but they're not entirely suicidal. So I'm taking a wait and see on this. I suspect he is probably gravely ill, but let's see. And as to the succession, there would be all kinds of fallout internally inside the regime to see what the next move is if he, doesn't come through this alive. And be ready for a period of brinksmanship, because their natural response then is to escalate tension as a way of solidifying their hold on power.
Oh, absolutely. We've seen that very much play out in China. Prue, I want to go back into that chat I had with Andrew Constance. I think people's estimation of him only grows when they hear him speak. He's so passionate. He's absolutely spot on. There's got to be a national sort of fund, a way we avoid all of this. We went back and had a look at some of the numbers. The Red Cross, as of the 15th of April this year, they've raised $200 million for the bushfires. Not enough of it's obviously out there in the community. Celeste Barber, 52 million. Surely we've got to fix this.
We must. You know, he's so passionate, and we all are. We want to help. The fact that we all donated millions of dollars, and it's so frustrating, and it makes me incredibly angry that these poor people are living in tents. That we wanted to see action now, and this money was given in good faith, and it should have filtered down to these people. And I'm sorry, I know that there's now this legal stoush with the Celeste Barber money, and it's gone to the RFS trust account. But isn't there a way that the RFS can say, look, we understand the intention of these donations, and we want to give this to the communities that are suffering. We've got to, hold these people to account, and the Red Cross and all the other charities, because it's simply not good enough and it's not acceptable.
Kate, I've got to go back. You're getting stuck with all the military and intelligence stuff tonight, but I'm interested. You've got obviously a background in military, and you understand with a top secret clearance. There'll be things you probably know and can't talk about tonight. But in relation to this app, everything I've read, I am quite comfortable. It's just Bluetooth by Bluetooth. There's no great information saved on a server. I could be in my car. There's more on my car's GPS, I have to say, than what this app might reveal. Would you be someone who'd sign up to it? Barnaby Joyce won't. Would you think it's a good thing in order to be able to get out and about after COVID-19?
Yeah, look, Peter, I take two views on this. Firstly, I just assume that nothing we say over our mobile phones or send on the electromagnetic spectrum is safe unless it's highly encrypted, and there are a range of compartments that I'd trust roughly. But we have so much open source information. What do most people out there who are digging their heels in think happens? Why do they think they're getting advertisements on Google and YouTube showing the results of their previous searches and stuff? Like the amount of plundering of information about us that has been done by malign actors and non-government sources is just exponential. And I happen to trust the government. I think they're coming from a good place on this. I saw the DPM interviewed last night, Michael McCormack, and he said his kids or the millennials he knows are taking it up without batting an eyelid. And it seems to me that there's this strange mistrust about government when so many other organisations are just literally plundering the electromagnetic spectrum to find out quite intimate stuff about us. And the same people who don't want to have the app on their phone are probably on darn dating sites and things, or on the dark web. So, really it makes no sense to me. The only thing that would inhibit me taking it up is that if there is a really low level of take-up around the country, it's probably a bit futile. You want it to have a high level of penetration so that it works.
Correct. Yeah, they say it has to be at least 40%. Prue, would you take it up?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. 100%. I think it's crazy.
Same.
They know everything about us, through Medicare, through Centrelink, through Facebook. It's just absurd. These conspiracy theorists, we want to get on with our lives. And the way to do that is to make sure they can trace the carriers and, protect us all. It's so absurd. I don't know why we're even having this argument. I know why we are, but I don't know why these fools that are in the community who think that the government's out to get them are, even doing this. It's so absurd. Just sign up, everybody, for goodness sake.
Kate McGregor, you're a long-time observer, sometime practitioner of the dark arts of Canberra, and you've got a lot of connections on the Labor side as well as the coalition. Do you reckon that Malcolm Turnbull and Kevin Rudd were separated at birth?
Well, they'd make a fantastic pair of bookends for their very thick books, wouldn't they? In the sense that they certainly are kindred spirits. And I'm 100% commiserate with you, Peter, and I'd reached out to Tony Abbott as well. I said, you'll be remembered as Howard and he'll be remembered as McMahon, basically, in the sense that it was a non-event prime ministership. It wasn't worth the grief that the party was put through. But, look, textbook narcissists, both of them, both, as you know, darlings of the Q&A audience crowd, but behaved abysmally towards people at the staff level. The two people who were seen as kind of tough guys around politics, whose staff would take a bullet for them, were PJ Keating, who was adored by his staff, and your old boss, Tony Abbott, who was solicitous of the well-being and humanity of people close to him. They're an appalling pair of characters. And the Labor Party dodged a bullet, by the way. He nearly...
Prue, you've got the last word. I know we nearly got Labor pre-selection. Prue, just quickly, he's been in and around Sydney for a long, long time. Everyone's got a Turnbull story. Were you surprised?
No, not at all. And I think the problem is, how the emissions have been going down with all this lack of, transport and etc. I think all the burning of his books is going to force it really way up, and that's going to be a real worry in the future.